Kia ora koutou, I'm Michael Fletcher and I'm Principal of Chaucer School here in Tamaki Makaurau in our stunning country of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Here are 3 tips for MT, 3 tips for Minister Tinetti. Are you sure this is a good idea? Are you kidding? We've got first-time principals not making it to the 5-year mark. We've got experienced principals retiring early. We've got principal colleagues who've had enough leaving the profession to become bank managers and real estate agents. So not only is it a good idea, it's an essential idea. Okay, just asking. Tip number 1, burnout and well-being. During the last 5 years or so, I have personally spoken to many colleagues and heard secondhand of many others who've had enough. They've either left the profession or are barely hanging in there. And this started before COVID and before flooding and cyclones. One tangible way you can support Principal Wellbeing Minister is to provide funding that is specifically tagged to be spent by principals on their wellbeing. Tip number 2, what we value. I decided to do a bit of research into what other professions earn in relation to what principals earn. I decided to have a look at members of parliament. An MP starts at a salary of $163,961. They also get allowances and superannuation on top of that. As you know, Minister, that salary is set and reviewed by the Remuneration Authority. They also have a set of criteria that they use when they are reviewing Members of Parliament salaries every year. That criteria includes the need to recruit and retain competent individuals, and fair relativity with comparable positions. Great. Those criteria seem really fair, reasonable and sensible. So how about you apply those criteria to principals' remuneration? So, for example, under the current Principals Collective Agreement, question, is that the one that ran out last year? Yep. U1 and U2 principals start on a salary of $98,031. Now, no disrespect to MPs, but are we saying that as a country, MPs are worth nearly $66,000 more per year than U1 and U2 principals? Tip number 3, parity. Minister, why do you and the government value primary kids and primary principals less highly than secondary kids and secondary principals? In the primary sector, we get less staffing, less management units, and our secondary colleagues receive a sabbatical every 5 years as of right. Fantastic. But why don't we? And we're required to be open for more days in the year. The table on page 113 of the Tomorrow Schools Independent Task Force Review Report sets it out really clearly. I know that addressing these parity issues would go some way towards retaining existing principals and attracting new principals. Minister Tinetti, as someone who served as a principal in Southland and Tauranga for over 20 years, we're grateful to have someone with your expertise, mana and experience in the role of Minister of Education. You have an opportunity to send a clear signal to principals that we as a profession are valued, and valued not just by the sharing of some nice words, but by tangible support. Thank you for watching. Ka kite anō.